We also have another really important conversation going on this morning. It's about your health. It's something known as the silent killer, because there really are no symptoms. Like, you're not going to feel it if it's a problem with you. And I can tell you, sitting in my doctor's office, I was hugely surprised when they said your blood pressure was through the roof, because I had no idea and literally no symptom.
Wow. You didn't feel it.
Nope.
You didn't feel a thing.
So
about that report, it was released this morning by the World Health Organization, sounding the alarm on this, finding that 4 out of 5 people are inadequately treated for high blood pressure.
Well, let's bring on a doctor, because let's get a medical perspective. Dr. Gregory Katz, he's a cardiologist at NYU Langone Heart. Dr. Katz, thanks for joining us here.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. You know, we're reading through this. I'm hearing personal stories that you will hear in just a minute as well from Shirley and Sam. But, you know, these numbers are staggering. It says that high blood pressure affects 1 in 3 adults around the world. So, doctor, why is that? Why is the blood pressure so high for so many people?
High blood pressure is a really big deal. It's really, really common. And if you talk to 10 different doctors about what causes it, you're going to get 10 different answers. It's probably related a little bit to what we call lifestyle changes. And what that means is stress, sleep, things that we eat, how much we move, how little exercise we do, genetics. There's a million factors that can influence blood pressure. And one of the things that makes it so difficult to just say, do this and your blood pressure will be solved, is that it's just different for everybody, and different people are different.
So clearly, it's not a one-size-fits-all approach here. It's so nuanced that way. And the issue for me personally, this has hit my family. I'm of Caribbean descent. Both of my parents suffer from high blood pressure, and I'm seeing these really alarming statistics, how much this impacts people of color. Black people in the United States, among the highest in the world. Suffering from high blood pressure. The issue with my parents, Patrick and Cleo, I love you so much, but I have to share this. They're both very thin, and they think that they are healthy because they appear thin, but they're both on these medications. So how do I talk to people like my parents?
The only way to know if your blood pressure is high is to measure it. You can't look at somebody and guess whether their blood pressure is elevated, and you can't predict it just based on somebody's body weight. And this is the kind of thing, as we get older, blood pressure tends to go up unless we are also, as we get older, doing more physical activity and healthier lifestyles. And it's the kind of thing where most people, as they get older, do less. And so there's this mismatch between what we should be doing and what we are doing that in a lot of people leads to blood pressure being up. And the only way to know, again, is you need to look at the numbers and you need to measure it, because you can't figure it out based on how you feel, as you mentioned, or based on how you look.
So if you don't go to a doctor to have a regular checkup, please do. That's number one. I love what you said about this at the beginning, about how, you know, different doctors will say different things, and you'll even hear people say, oh, it's stress, oh, it's food, oh, it's weight, oh, it's exercise. Well, it can be all of those things, and depending on who you are and where you come from, one may be more important than the other. So, you know, I think we have to say to everybody, this could be a problem in almost every family. You have to get it checked. What I did find, and I love everything you've said, because as I got older, what I realized is that my blood pressure was going up, and I could make things a little bit better. I didn't make it completely better with diet and exercise, but I could be in better control of it if I was in better control of my weight and my exercise. That was just in my case. But could you just restate kind of what you said at the top about it can be so many different things to so many different people? I think we need to hear it.
Yeah. So high blood pressure, or blood pressure, goes up because of different factors for different people. For some people, it's they don't sleep very well. For other people, it's they have too much stress. Some people are very sensitive to salt in the diet, and cutting back on sodium really drops their blood pressure. Some people, it's all related to inactivity and the lack of movement. Some people, it's just too many calories and too much weight and too much fat in our bodies. And for most people, though, it's a little bit of all of these things. And so the only way to know what works for you particularly is you need to do self-experiments, and you need to see what moves the needle. And what I always advise my patients is that a huge amount of blood pressure control is under our control, and things that we do can influence our blood pressure really, really drastically. And so the idea of empowering people to take control of their health and letting people know that they have the ability to influence this, and it's not just you go on this medicine and you stay on this medicine for the rest of your life, and as you get older, you get put on more medicines. The idea of patient empowerment is just such a vitally important thing for people to be aware of, that this is something we can all have control over, and we can all influence what our blood pressure is like.
Such a great point, and it begins with getting your blood pressure checked.
Well, clearly it's
Dr.
dire
Katz,
because so many people are dying from this, and it can be prevented, and that's our takeaway this morning. So thank you so much for joining us and for this very important conversation.